Okay, checklist.
An instrument panel.
Wow. Alright, we're back. Alright, before start checklist. Keys, acquire, seat belts, doors. Windows are open. Still working on your seat belt, brakes. I'm actually going to move up forward a little bit more. So you said we are flying the Gene?
We'll find out when we get there.
Okay.
If it's not too busy out there, we'll just stay here. We need to do some practice area stuff, so we'll just shoot out the practice area. And you see little TCUs forming out there. So when we see those, that's two things happening. One is there's dust particuli sticking to the moisture sticking to the dust. Otherwise you wouldn't see it. It'd be invisible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Avionics power is off. Circuit breakers and fuel selector valve. Put it on both. Fuel shut-off valve on. Starting engine. Mixture, idle cutoff, master switch on, beacon on, auxiliary fuel pump. How long do we put this on for? Until we get the propeller on?
Here's what we do. We put this at about a half inch.
Half inch.
Cut off. Turn on the pump. And we're going to spray it. And then back off. And then we start with it just crack off idle.
Okay. Just like that.
Yellow clear.
Clear!
Crank it, and the moment it fires, onto the rubber cover.
Oh, I have it. God, it's gonna keep that. There we go. Alright.
See how far I had that back? I'm still too much. Almost at idle.
Wow. Mixture, we got that. Throttle, 1,000. No digital today. Oil pressure. On the green. Engine gauge is checked.
Green is oil pressure, oil temperature, and tach. That's it. That's the instruments.
Okay. Taxi checklist, license acquired, we're just going to fly with taxi with the beacon, avionics powered, on, flaps up, taxi with takeoff, transponder, standby, radio set, so let's see.
Set the volume right, it'll over modulate really easy. Like peak out. Okay, how do I let's down the volume. On this? Yeah. Test. Okay, it's fine. Okay, it still doesn't. Cool. Okay, cool. Are we on these? We are. Press mic 2.
Temperature 28, dew point -10, altimeter 29er 1. Visual approach runway 12 right in use. Landing and departing runway 12 right, runway 12 left, and runway 25. Clearance delivery is available on ground control frequency. Yellow flashing lights indicate you are approaching an active runway. ATC clearance is required. Simultaneous operations are being conducted to parallel and crossing runways. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you received Kilo. North Las Vegas Tower information, Kilo, time 1920 Zulu, wind 100 at 7, temperature 28, dew point -10, altimeter 29991. Visual approach runway 12 right in use, landing and departing runway 1.
Okay, so information Kilo, we're landing and departing 12 right, 12 left, and 5, right? And
Yeah, ground citation 741 Tango's clearance
so
down to Charlie Romeo Quebec with Kilo.
But it's 1 to left and right and 7.
Oh, it's 7.
Runway 25, actually.
Okay, can you hold the brakes real quick?
Citation 7, North Las Vegas, clear to Charlie Romeo Quebec Airport, Northtown departure, Victor 8, Golf, Victor 8, 29 Palms, Wild. Sit, maintain 7,000. Level 2, 0.
This is why they sometimes will go on 24-0 to get clearances.
Okay.
The wordy length in they can. No, same time.
6, standby.
Go ahead and taxi to runway 7.
Right now?
Yeah, while we're talking. Done talking, then we get a word in edge-wise.
Alright, so what are our intentions exactly?
Northwest to practice area. Right brake.
Okay.
Seminole 44 Alpha, stop there and contact Tower 125.7. Good day.
Over to Tower 741
Have the controls.
Citation 4110, go ahead with the readback.
And 741 Tango is
ground.
cleared via to CRQ.
Previous aircraft were taken off
3,
that way.
Victor 538, Golf, Victor 538, 29 Pines, Palms, as filed 7,000, 220 and 10, let's see, 25.9 on the Freak, and 47.76 on the Sweep.
Citation 4110, let's verify climb via SID, accept, maintain is 7,000.
Climb via the SID, maintain 7,000, 41 Tango.
Citation 41 Tango, readback correct, advise ready to taxi.
Will do.
North Las Vegas ground, Cessna 9560 Whiskey at West Air. We have information Kilo via VFR departure to the northwest.
Cessna 9560 Whiskey, North Las Vegas, ground runway 7, taxi via Golf.
Runway 7 via Golf, 60 Whiskey, thanks.
Alright, you have the controls. I got full left rudder in it.
Alright, thank you, my control.
Have the controls.
Put that there.
Ground citation 771 Pop Mike's coming out of the air terminal with Kilo.
Citation 1 Papa Mike, roger, and the wind is currently 110 at 3. Can you accept runway 25?
Yes, we can. 1 Pop Mike.
Citation 1 Papa Mike, runway 25, taxi via Charlie Alpha, hold short of runway 12 right at Charlie.
K25 via Charlie Alpha, hold short of 12 right at Charlie, 1 Papa Mike.
See that nose wheel?
Yep. Off the ground.
Yeah, why?
The tail tie now?
So,
Citation 1 Papa Mike, stop and contact Tower 125.7, have a good flight.
That'll lift the nose off the ground.
Uh-oh. Wind was coming out of, what was it? 00 at 7.
Probably the other day when we had those high winds.
North Las Vegas ground, Skyhawk 9577 Zulu, 12 right, hotel, ATP ramp.
Skyhawk 9577 Zulu, North Las Vegas ground, taxi straight ahead to the ramp.
Straight ahead to the ramp, 9577 Zulu.
Okay,
And
brake
Cessna
full.
60 Whiskey, say direction to flight one more time.
Volume control for tower, or ground. Alright, flight
Cessna
control.
60 Whiskey, what was your direction to flight one more time?
Left up, right down. Left down, right up. Elevator up, elevator down. Okay. Trim set for takeoff. Flaps set for are we 0 flaps? Alright, flight instruments check and set. So we're at 130.
I would do flow every time. Start your airspeed, your clock if your instrument departure. Airspeed 0 unless we're heading into a big wind. Set that for parallax, whatever that needs to be. Set that at 22 and then the altimeter 2991.
991.
So it's just a little tweak and see how much it's off and it's perfect. B's won't need for right now. This is 0. Then do your heading.
Okay.
Just look at your deviation card. So we're looking at 131 right now, and you look down at the deviation card, the closest one's probably over here, and it's about 3 less.
Okay.
So instead of 131, make it 128. That's the bug.
Oh my god. How is this so off?
The reason it's so off because of the precessed.
Okay.
And then the last thing is no flag.
Okay, cool. Got that for next time. Alright, flight instruments, check mixture as required. So, are we going to put this full? Yep. Throttle 1800. Okay, magnetos. We're going to go to the right. Alright. Meter check.
Amp meter and vacuums together there.
Oh, okay, yep. 0, 0. Vacuum in the green. So the vacuum is here. Yep, we're in the green. Engine gauges check. We're in green, green. Yeah. And what are the engine gauges exactly? Is it
Oil pressure and oil temp.
So both of those. Okay. Throttle. Idle cutoff. Good. All right, throttle friction set. Do we? Yeah. Good. Okay, and transponder. We're just gonna squawk out. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I just want a little drag on here. So during takeoff roll, especially if you take off your hand, it's kind of idle back.
Okay.
That's also why we put our hand on there during pattern work, in case it would drift back
Okay.
during our departure.
Okay. One 125.7.
Set.
Oh, it's already set on COM 2?
1.
1. Oh, wait, what?
You have to flip it.
Oh. Sorry.
The flipper.
And citation 1, Papa Mike,
Okay,
overly.
North Las Vegas Tower, Cessna 9560 Whiskey, holding short runway 7 at Golf.
And last going to say again?
Cessna 9560 Whiskey, we're holding short runway 7 at Golf.
Cessna 9560 Whiskey, North Las Vegas Tower, cross runway 7, hold short of runway 12 right.
12 right?
Cross.
Yeah. Cross runway 7, and we'll hold short at 12 right at Golf. 60 Whiskey. How about that? I was making sure.
Okay. What part of it is the way that you speak on the radio needs to be more consistent, more monotone, and you need to get rid of the words that are part of a sentence and only give the facts.
Okay.
So, that's not part of anything. That's not in the
that's just a random thing.
Yep. And all the words like that. The correct readback is the clearance limit, which is, in this case, runway 12 right. The next thing is the route.
Cessna 60 Whiskey, verify westbound or northwestbound?
Doesn't matter.
We're gonna be northwestbound.
Cessna 60 Whiskey, roger, and just hold short runway 12 right for a moment.
Hold short 12 right, 60 Whiskey.
We could be westbound, but it'll get us off greater. Okay, so back to the statement. Freiher.
Cessna 60 Whiskey, make a left downwind departure and remain east of the Santa Fe outbound, runway 12 right, clear for takeoff.
Left turn out, clear for takeoff, 12 right.
Left downwind, 12 right, clear for takeoff, Cessna 60 Whiskey.
Cessna 60 Whiskey, remain east of the Santa Fe outbound.
We'll be east of the Santa Fe outbound, 60 Whiskey, thanks. All right.
But nobody's gonna sit down on our head.
Can we steer with the brakes? It feels like every time I push. All right, heels to the ground, full power. Airspeed alive. And we're off the ground.
Tap the brake. Why are we fall back?
Oh.
Whoa. Right rudder. Get back over the runway and push the nose over. Put the nose on the horizon. We'll fly straight ahead.
Citation 1 Papa Mike, expected VFR climb with departure, runway 12, correction, runway 25, clear for
fly
takeoff.
itself. You fly
Clear for
the
takeoff, 25, 1 Papa Mike.
I turn my volume up.
Intercom's right here.
Test, test. On the go.
There we go. Good. Sorry about that.
5, taxi Papa clear for the
I was feeling like the plane was just lifting too much.
Is in
Run down it.
I had to push the nose forward.
What do it take?
Yeah, I got that system. I maintain the
Right.
operation.
If you don't have it stuffed against the firewall, if it's pitching up, you haven't done enough.
All right.
Whatever it takes. Don't let the airplane fly what it wants to do. You make the airplane do what you want it to do. All right. Trim it later.
Okay.
Tower 70744 Alpha.
There are many times like go-rounds where the airplane is not trimmed. So we can't fly by feel. You fly by where the airplane is positioned. Leave the power at maximum. If you got a power airplane, you pull it back. These airplanes, there's never ever a reason to pull it back. Okay. You'll never redline it or go over red line.
Citation 1 Papa Mike, contact Las Vegas departure.
We're out of 3,000, so we lean the engine and then do the checklist. Well, let's get it for sure on the rich side before we start enriching in it. If we go up in temperature, we go past the lean point to the cold. And then we...
60 Whiskey, resume on navigation inbound.
On navigation, Cessna 60 Whiskey.
So if we go towards the heat, and we go past the heat, where it's so lean, it's cold.
Okay.
And then we start enriching it, we might not be where we're supposed to be on the rich side.
Okay. So how should I...
Well, bring it back so it dips. There's the dip. Get it back rich enough so it's fully running.
Okay.
Don't be still on the lean point, and then enriching it for it because it's too lean. It'll burn the valves. So make sure you're just on the rich side of the. Then go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. 25, clear for takeoff, 74 for Alpha.
Maintain 4,000 if you would.
Okay.
Have you studied emergency with engine failure yet?
I only watched the video and I kind of know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing we do if we lost an engine is that we'd establish best glide speed.
Okay.
So what is that on the regular airplane?
Isn't that 65?
Okay. So establish 65 doesn't mean we start out diving at 100. The other thing it doesn't mean is that we pull up so hard we scrub off speed.
Okay.
So we just real gently hold the nose and let it degrade.
Resume normal pattern.
Just stay at altitude and just keep trimming and keep trimming. When you're in the normal airplane at 65, you're pretty much trimmed all the way out. Okay. Now we pick a spot. Well, there's some open fields down there, and that looks the best spot out here. There's a frontage road there. Well, that's actually a ditch. It's not a road. Got some residential here without power lines. That's a good spot over there. But the open fields may be really rough, but it would be more appropriate for an emergency landing possible. Okay. So,
have a good day.
As long as you got enough length there, you know, that's a good spot. Landing on a road always freaks people out.
298 Juliet Charlie.
And you see that road over there is a freeway under construction. Yep. There's no traffic whatsoever except for heavy equipment. That'll be an excellent spot. So you head towards that spot. I'll give you a power back. So you head towards that spot.
60 whiskey, frequency change for.
Frequency change for 60 whiskey.
Now notice when we put in power, this nose is going up to 15 degrees. Don't let it do that.
All right.
Make it go where you want it to go. We got to trim for the best line. So position the nose and then we'll take out the trim. Trim out the pressure, I should say.
57 Delta Charlie, northbound Vegas Tower.
2275.
Northbound and remain west of raw runways and taxiways until advised on right turn.
And COM 2 on the audio band. Alright, climb to 4 and we'll head out that road. Okay, so back to the emergency. Okay. So you have an engine failure. First thing you do, I'm going to find a spot to land. Let's say we're going to land on this. See that little miniature thing with X's on it? We're just going to sit down right there, and if we roll off the end, that's good. Okay. So the next thing we do is we turn towards that spot. Okay. Next thing we do, 3, is that we diagnose. Maybe there's nothing wrong with the airplane, we're just being stupid. So I'd always do the fuel first. Okay. So it's got Kirby, check, maybe just slid out a ways. Okay. Mixture, Bill Ridge. Both, or if we got a Piper with left or right, or any other airplane with left or right, not a both. Make sure it's on the right, the one with switch it. Okay. If it's on that tank, switch it to the other tank. Maybe the other tank's got better fuel. Come over here, if you got a primer, make sure it's in. If you got a fuel pump, flip on the fuel pump. Maybe the engine-driven fuel pump, quit. Okay. If it's not fuel-related, then fix it, then go to mag. It's possible that maybe it'll run better or come back to life if you went to one of the other mags and whatever was happening in the switch for an error fixed itself by taking it to just one mag and light up the mags again. Maybe the both are shorted out because the switch is faulty. So after we do the fuel check and the master switch check, if we're at an engine-related issue, then we want to start talking. If we can't fix it, then we want to start talking. There's never a flow that works the best each and every time. There's always what-ifs, scenarios, that a flow, change in the flow would meet the emergency in a better way. Okay. So let's say that you're descending just over the backside of Mount Charleston, you're only going to have a line of sight for communication for 30 seconds. Don't spend 2 minutes trying to do the diagnosis. Get to talking first. If you're out in the middle of the Tules in the mountains, 7700 talk before you get behind the mountain range. Okay. There's always a variable. But typically we say, best glide, pick a spot, fly to it. Now when we fly to a spot, don't fly directly over the spot. Yeah, we want to get, because you'll wind up having to guess where this 360 is going to come out. Yeah. You might be off 180 degrees on the altitude. So pick a spot, a left base or a downwind beam type deal, so you can use forward slips, not commit flaps, and get your descent profile that way. Get out the pressure. So, back to the throttle a little bit. Well, we're just talking right now, so we're not in this race. So, best glide, suitable spot, fly to a position where you can land. Still maintaining best glide. That's number 1. 3 is diagnose. Okay. Possibly communicate. Then 4, communicate. best thing you do, especially here with radar every place, hit 7700 first. That flashes you on their scope.
Okay.
Then if they hear Mayday, Mayday, Mayday as the next words, they know it's us.
Okay.
Chances of two people having an emergency at the same time, rare unless there's a mid-air and they're both halfway flyable.
What frequency will we change on?
Well, that's a consideration. If we just talk to tower,
If we go back to tower.
and they know who we are and know about where we're at, that would be the best frequency to talk to.
Yep.
If we're out in the middle of Thules and we are not on radar services, meaning flight following with center,
Okay.
otherwise if we are, it would be the current controller would be the one to talk to, right?
Yep.
Makes sense. They already knows who we are and where we're at, what we're doing. However, if we need any of those criteria and we're going to call up the first time, take this button right here and hold it in. 3 seconds, boom, 21.5.
Oh, cool.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday is the first word you say. You don't say Las Vegas approach or
Tower. It's unnecessary because we have emergency.
Say aircraft calling off Las Vegas Tower, standby.
Not good.
So you want to start with Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. All right. After you started with that, now Mayday, Mayday, Mayday actually infers that there's grave danger to life, either on the ground or you, or your passengers. A possibility would be if you know that there's no threat danger and you got a really nice landing spot, you might just report pan, pan, pan.
Okay.
Same scenario, except you don't think anybody's going to die.
Okay. So if I have to see if I land safely, no one's gonna hurt, I'm gonna say pan, pan, pan.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the differences. All right. Let's go ahead and climb now, full power. Now, let's give you some electrical scenarios. Let's say that the airplane had an over voltage light. That over voltage indicator came on and said the alternator's charging too much and it's going to start cooking things and killing things.
Okay.
What would you do? What is it that charges the system?
The battery?
No, it's being charged.
Oh.
It does provide power when there's no charging mechanism, but during flight it just gets charged and works as an accumulator. If you flip on a landing light for a microsecond or a millisecond, it'll supply that spurt, but otherwise it's just being charged.
Okay.
It's the alternator.
The alternator.
So how it's weighted to an overcharging alternator?
Yes.
But off the left side.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'll do it right now.
Alright, now the moment you do that, look at the amp meter now. On these Cessnas, the amp meter immediately becomes a load meter.
Okay.
It was a battery charge meter. Now it becomes a battery load meter because everything's coming out of the battery at this point.
Okay.
Go ahead and turn on the alternator. Notice how the charge is a little higher now momentarily because the battery had some discharge on it. Car batteries, airplane batteries are two different animals.
Okay.
Let's make a climbing left turn. We'll climb at, let's say, best rate, 75. So that being said, we don't want to charge a dead aircraft battery off the alternator. It will cook it. The plates are very lightweight and thin. It only can be charged at about 3 or 4 amps rate. So if we really run down the battery and then we jump or start it, thinking, oh, I'll just go fly and charge up the aircraft battery, you'll ruin it. The battery and it's kaput because you overcook it. So that being said, we want to take off the overcharge mechanism. Then we want to get rid of everything that's superfluous. What do we need out here right now?
What do you mean?
What electrical equipment would be necessary to be safe right now?
I'm gonna say well the 3. Well, we really need those anyway because we can see.
Well, what takes electricity? We haven't really gone over that. You haven't gone over that.
No.
Okay.
The communication.
Well, do we need communicator right now?
No, not really. Practice area.
So you can turn that off, you can turn that off. We'll just keep the transponder on, but keep them happy, but you can turn that off, you're en route.
Yeah.
Don't need a beacon, you can turn off that. Turn off the beacon. Some beacons with a motor takes a lot of power. So we'll just turn this back on for safety right now. That'd be minimum equipment right there. Now, you might leave all that off until you get right to the airport and then flip it on at the last minute while you still got a good battery. If you use the radio all the way there and you got an hour to go, you might run the battery down before you get there.
Exactly, you don't even need the radio.
No, and if you're with center, say, I have electrical failure, I want to check in every 15 minutes. And he can see your primary on the scope. He can shut down everything else.
Okay.
Okay. So we have an emergency now. We have a loss of engine power.
Okay. First thing, best glide speed.
All right. First thing I need to see when I reduce the power is don't let that nose do this and accelerate to 100 before you start reacting.
Okay.
First thing you should do is keep the airplane pretty much level in flight and allow the nose to drift up as we're scrubbing off speed. As it approaches 65, then nose it over.
Okay.
Good engine failure. Now, start looking for a spot. Trim the airplane.
Okay, so off to my right.
I'm on your right.
Off to my left.
65, which is about a flat position. Let me have the note.
Oh!
Let me have the notes. All right. You have the trim trimmed all the way down.
Oh, that's... Wow, you're right. Totally right. There we go.
So make sure when you're trimming...
I'm not trimming the wrong way.
No, don't hold it stiff, with a death grip and trim and then let go and see what happens.
Okay.
Do it all you're doing it. Your fingertips.
Okay.
That way you won't do that.
Alright,
typically you don't have to hold on with a death grip to fly an airplane. It flies by itself, you just use your fingers.
Okay.
If you need to grab it just for strength, do, and then get it trimmed out right away. Okay.
Okay. To my left I have...
There you go.
I have a road there.
Alright, well let's pick that road.
Alright, let's pick that road.
65. Don't focus on the speed, focus on the landing spot. Just get us in a position to land there. What would be a best position if you keep that to your left, right?
I would fly, if I wanted to land on that strip right there, I'd slowly make an S turn, and then
Let's
I'd
do it.
Alright.
Alright, now watch your nose. You're dipping it down again. Keep that note at best glide. Let the airplane be trimmed so you can kind of let go and let the airplane do its own thing while you're doing your thing. Okay. What next?
Now we have to diagnose. So, let's see, I do have my...
Start at carb heat. Work your way across, down, and over to primer and fuel pump.
Okay, so then there's no carb heat on this, so I don't have to worry about that. My mixture, or my throttle, I would check and see if it's in. My mixture is in.
Still got to land over there, so don't leave that situation alone.
Okay.
Flying at 65 and you're setting yourself up for what kind of entry?
I'm entering a left downwind.
Okay. Okay. So you're gonna land over the power lines over there? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So then my fuel shut-off valve is in. Or the fuel, is it? Yeah, fuel shut-off valve in. Fuel selector on both. Let's see. Okay. Fuel pump. Can I put that in? And then
Turn back off now. Alright. So it didn't work. So now what?
now I have to communicate.
So where we're gonna land?
Yeah.
We're gonna make it?
Yep.
So don't get too far away. It's easier to fight it getting down than to fight trying to get there. So where are you gonna touch down?
Traffic not available.
My touchdown, I'm going to be right after that little bridge right there.
Okay? See that big ditch right there?
Yep.
Fair challenge. Which way is the wind blowing?
Wind was 100 at 7.
Okay. So we're gonna...
Not way too high.
Okay. So all the procedures didn't make any difference if you don't set yourself up for a landing. So you got to really work on that piece. Go ahead and add power. We'll head up towards practice area again. Don't let the nose pitch up. That's called a trim stall.
full power. So let's say that we're gonna set down right where that little ditch is, where that other ditch intersects right there. Okay. One of the things you can do, I have the control. Okay. One of the things to do is use a forward slip. Get the speed under control. Alright. You gotta use extreme measures because you're in an extreme situation. You need to do a spot landing. So whatever you gotta do to get the airplane in that position. So if you have to forward slip it. Okay. If you had to side slip it, I wouldn't put down flaps. So right here we're too fast and high. So you could use a forward slip. Get the airplane down with speed. Then you're all set up. Okay? Alright, whatever it takes. And get yourself set up further out. Try not to come in close, tight, and short. Give yourself space. Okay. Pick a spot where you can maneuver. Don't put yourself in more precarious situation than you already are. Understand? That's good. Say, going in like that. That's a forward slip. Yeah. Just watch your speed when you do a forward slip because you're cross control. Alright. Alright, we'll go back up. So we did emergency with engine failures. We did electrical failures. We talked about that. We could have a fire. A fire is the worst thing in the world to have in an airplane. Oh yeah. If you have a fire, what's the best thing to do? Turn the fuel on. Airplane on absolutely as fast as you can get the airplane on the ground. We don't want to blow up. It's better to crash landing than to burn in the sky, I can tell you that. Yeah. So do whatever. There's a great YouTube of a CFI and another guy, and I think a 182 or a RG of some sort has a pump on this side of the firewall, up by your feet, and the motor's stuck on, didn't turn off. They don't have a cooling system on, it's just made momentarily, just for a few seconds to run the pump down, run the gear down. So it overtemp, heated up, caught fire. There was a couple thousand feet off the ground. They made an immediate descent to the ground. Before out of the air, his tennis shoes were sticking to the floor and he had 3rd-degree burns on his shins. Fell out of the air and it burnt to a level crisp. So the worst thing in the world, in an airplane on fire. So don't mess around with the fire. That's the one thing, get it on the ground. Alright. Don't take no time setting up, get it on the ground as fast as you can get it on the ground. Alright. That means going 90-degree knife edge and going down on don't spin the airplane. Yeah. But get with the program. Okay. Don't take time. Okay, let's move on. Happier things. Okay. System malfunctions. Okay, we got class Bravo up here, and we have a restricted area there. So let's do a U-turn here. Emergency equipment failure. Emergency equipment. Survival gear. Climate descending turns IR. So, are you oriented right now? No. You don't know where you are in space? Oh. Wait. You know where you are in space? Oh, for the most part. I can. I have the controls. The control. I have the controls. So we're gonna, just for a moment, we're gonna level the airplane out here. Verify that this is. Lean it up a little bit. Verify that this is pretty close to the attitude that we need. So your primary instrument for speed, of course, is the speed indicator. Primary instrument for altitude is the altimeter. Our primary instrument for direction, if you got the DG set, is your DG. Yep. Makes sense. Yep. Primary versus how much you use it is apples and oranges. So a supporting thing for speed would be back. Okay. Things like that. Supporting instrument for altitude would be what? Speed indicator high. Yeah. Supporting instrument for a turn would be what? Well, in a turn, maybe that too, yeah. Bank and turn coordinator. This is your primary that you're turning. So there's
primary versus supporting, but then there's also where you have most of your focus. So if the attitude gyro is working, typically that's where you're going to be doing most of your focus.
Okay.
And the bank is pretty easy. Pitch, another story. So can you read 1 degree pitch angle? So halfway up to the 10 is 5. There's 10 degrees. From here to here is 10 degrees. There's 5 degrees. Can you do it 1 degree?
You really can't.
No, but try to get it as close as you can to 1 degree. So that's the type of deflections that you're actually putting on the airplane. It's just 1 degree pitch changes, and then see how it reacts. Maybe another degree. So let's do a climbing turn to 5,500, and we'll roll out a 060 heading.
Right turn.
Right turn, 060. Standard rate of turn, so this little guy stays on the little blocks a little less.
Okay.
This winds up being, what, about 18 degrees or so?
Yeah.
So no further bank than that. That's a climbing turn. So we're going to pitch just slightly on that pitch attitude, but wherever that pitch is, keep it right there and make small changes to it.
Okay.
What happened to our smooth air over here? Very good. Now we're doing 100, almost 105. We pitch for speed, so if we wanted the best rate of climb of 75,
I could just pull up a little bit more.
yeah, just pull up a couple degrees and then stabilize. Pull up another couple degrees and stabilize. See where it's going, how fast it's going to come back. It would be preposterous to pull this thing up 30 degrees. It's not sustainable. Might not be very sustainable very quickly to 20 degrees. So maybe pull it to 10 degrees and see what happens. And just keep it right there, 10 degrees. Pull it back up to 10 degrees. Keep the wings level, 10 degrees. This is your attitude gyro. This is your world. So that's how you fly the airplane while you glance at these other instruments that are supporting that.
Okay. You want me to maintain 55?
No, we'll just go on up to 6. I want you to focus on flying 10 degree pitch up.
Okay.
At 80.
Still at 060, 100 feet to go.
Let's maintain a constant airspeed. So as we level off, we're going to reduce the power so we stay at 80.
Okay.
50 feet prior, we'll start rolling over. Reducing speed. Pitch over to about level, reduce speed. Reduce RPM, I'm sorry. There. Now we're a little high, so we're going to have to reduce a little more. We're actually getting a little lift down here. There, the lift went away, so you can put the power back in. Put the power back in it, and pitch for speed. So pitch for 80 knots, pitch up 2 degrees.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then let that stabilize a little bit at 2 degrees, not 5 or 10, just 2. That's good. We're still climbing, so let it climb. We'll need some power because we're getting a false lift here. A little more power. We're getting behind the curve now. Back up to altitude, so we use power for altitude adjustment, not speed. Speed, we pitch for 80. Pitch down 2 degrees. Pitch down 2 degrees until it gets going back towards 80. Alright, but in the meantime, use power to get back up at altitude. Full power if it needs. But stay pitch-wise for 80. Alright, don't pitch over. Pitch up just 2 degrees at a time or 1 degree at a time. Now, let's say, even though this airplane's got 2 vacuums, alright, okay, so now what instrument do we need for pitch? Well, this is a good pitch indicator right here.
Yeah.
This is too. Because it doesn't have a turn to the right. How are we turning to the right? Well, we got this turn rate indicator. It's a different power supply.
Well, I have this too.
Well, it precesses like crazy. It's got all these turning errors and acceleration, deceleration errors. But yes, we do have that. We also have GPS available to us. It has our track. So, if we want to roll level, how would you go about doing that?
We look at this, make sure the ball's in the center.
And the turn rate isn't turning. It's level. So go ahead and level off at 6,500. Now, if we're going to maintain 80 knots at 6,500,
We'll be looking at this to make sure they're
this, glance at that, glance over there, glance at this. So you got a different pattern without the gyros. But you have how you're going to turn, so good. So there's instrument redundancy by using your supporting instruments for your primary instruments if there's a failure.
Oh yeah.
We also, if just that instrument died and not the problem with static, how about this guy? He's got a blind encoder right here.
Oh, so this tells you too.
Yeah, it's set to 2992, but it works. Gives you within 100 feet, right? Yep. We're supposed to review some stalls and stuff, but steep turn. You study a steep turn at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Demonstrate a steep turn to me.
To the right or left?
Good choice.
Still want me to have these on?
I'll take them back.
Okay.
You can do a steep turn IR, but we'll do it.
Okay.
Visual.
Alright, so I'll steep turn, do steep turn to the right.
What's the first thing you do in any of these maneuvers?
Oh, you mean a clearing turn?
No, I mean a suitable area.
Oh, suitable.
First thing, pick a suitable area. What is a suitable area?
If anything were to go wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we look down. Is this suitable? Is there 1,000 people down below so we're going to hit if something happens?
Oh yeah.
That's suitable population-wise. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there some place we could sit down if we had an emergency landing to do? Nope. Roads and streets and stuff? Okay. Are we at a suitable altitude that at the end of this maneuver will be at least 1,500 feet dual or 2,000 feet if you're flying up here solo?
Yeah, we're at 6,000, altitude's like 2,300.
Actually, altitude out here is at 3,300.
Oh, 3,300? Well, still, we're at
36 just up the hill a little ways.
Okay.
Alright, so then, once we established a suitable area, we clear the area.
Okay.
And all these things I'm telling you are just as important as the maneuver itself, according to the FAA.
Okay.
And the PTS standards book. Yep. So we clear the area by doing what?
Clearing turn.
2 90-degree clearing turns. And we also, while we're doing the clearing turns, what are we doing?
We're looking for traffic.
We're looking for traffic. Look out that way, look out that way. We're looking around. The whole point is to clear the area. We do that by looking around. If we're sitting there and focused down on our instrument panel while we're doing clearing turns, why do it? Exactly smooth. The other thing we do is we do an announcement. So on this frequency, we can say practice area traffic, Cessna 60 Whiskey, water tank, 5,500 maneuvering.
Okay.
Don't tell them a story.
So you want me to go ahead and go? Practice area traffic, Cessna 9560 Whiskey, over the water tank. 5,500 maneuvering.
That's it. Now we don't have to give them a whole call sign. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Okay.
Right.
Now, can I make it just...
Now, what entry speed, while we're getting in these clearing turns, we can set up for the entry. What kind of speed is appropriate for entry speed?
I'd say 80. 8 or...
Well, actually, in most of these Cessnas, it's like 105.
Okay, so...
Oh, absolutely. It's a steep turn.
Okay.
The older airplanes actually have a placard. You'd have to look at the POH to see what the recommended entry speed. We'll just use 100.
Okay. So, I'll get priority to 100.
What else are you going to do?
Maintain altitude.
Okay. And how are you going to begin the maneuver?
Rudder. No, okay.
Here's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So here's the steps.
Okay.
suitable area, less populated, got a landing spot, and I'm clearing the area, made an announcement. Now I pick a heading for something out on the horizon that I can focus to. Let's say the middle of that dry lake bed. Okay. The other thing, I want to be on a cardinal heading, so I'm on 320. Okay. The other thing, I want to be at a speed, so we'll push it up 90 knots at least. I'll just descend a few feet to get the 90 knots. We'll do 100 knots. Okay, so I got the 100 knots, one layer, 5,300. I got my heading. So now we're ready for the entry. The biggest thing on the entry on a steep turn is where you place the nose. Because here's what the choices are. You do it right, or as you roll over, you allow the nose to go down like this. And when the nose goes down, you're going to fight it all the way through. Okay. Because if you try to pull the nose back up, you're going to pull G's on the airplane. Yep. If you allow the nose to get too high, it's going to do just the same thing. You're going to be fighting your airspeed all around. You're going to be floating people. Yep. Alright, so you want to drag that nose through the horizon, pick a spot out there on the horizon, the rivet lines work good, whatever it takes. And out here we don't have a great horizon, you got to get imaginative. Yeah. And drag that rivet line at a 45-degree angle through that horizon. So look out there at the rivet line and try to pick a spot that keeps this guy centered, whatever that is. 45 degree, around a little dot, and the airplane will fly almost by itself. So if we get low like this and it starts descending, try not to pull so much. First, go 5 degrees out, then do a little pull, then come back again and put the rivet back where it should be. But the big thing is small pitch changes. A couple degrees. Figure out what it's going to do to you. Yeah. Because looking at the rivet's a whole lot more accurate than trying to pitch on an instrument. Okay? Then when you go to roll out, about 12 degrees prior to rollout, let's say we're rolling out of the stratosphere, then we're going to roll out nice and smartly. So we're going to roll out like this, pull off a little power to keep the balloon, come back right into the 45-degree bank, put in a little power for the anticipated drag that we're adding. Why is it more drag?
Because we're turning from left to right, right?
No. Like we're... What? The wings right now, the main wing is lifting what the airplane weighs, lifting a few gusts through. It also is lifting what the tail is pushing down, holding the nose up. Yeah. But if we add the turn, now we're putting weight on the airplane by centrifugal force. Because if we have the ball at the end of the string, we just move the string over to the side, and we're pulling on the ball. So we've added weight to the wings. Yep. How do we compensate for that?
We push down. Reduce.
Yeah, but the point is to stay level, so we have the angle of attack. Okay. When we increase the angle of attack, what's the byproduct? Lift. So all those things get you. So when you roll into level flight, it has a tendency to boom out of the maneuver. As you roll into the maneuver, you might have to add 100 RPM to compensate for that weight that you just added to the wing, so it stays level. Okay. So if you anticipate all those things, the maneuver has a chance of being more successful. Okay. Without having to correct all the way through the maneuver. Okay. If you do it perfect on a calm day, you'll come around and hit your own wake. Well,
nobody would feel that,
yeah, it'll bump when you fly through it.
Okay. Let's try this out.
Alright, so we set up all those. Let's say we're at 100, we'll just add some power. That's our cardinal point. Alright. Then roll into a left turn first. Now the airplane wants to turn left, so it's not quite so much left rudder, and then pull a little bit. There we go. We just glance at the instruments. It's an outside maneuver. Glancing in once in a while at the instruments. Back outside. Try not to over-control the airplane. We're getting slower, so we needed to add power for that. Added centrifugal force. It's adding weight to the airplane, and we're adding pitch to compensate.
Traffic
Now
not
let's
available.
roll out on that mountain out there. And we'll pick the heading on there. Then roll out smartly, pull out a little power, pull out the power, right rudder, and roll right into the right turn. And put that different rivet on the horizon. 1,000 feet here, so pick a different point on the horizon with your cow anyway. still use the horizon, just pick a different point on the Cali.
Okay.
That's probably not it.
Yeah, no. Let's see. I'm gonna level out. Okay.
What I see you doing is working the ailerons way too much.
Okay. So I to my spin.
Neutralize the aileron.
Okay.
When you're trying to adjust for altitude while you're doing this to the airplane,
it's not, yeah.
You're 180 out of the airplane. So be gentle with the airplane. Let the airplane do the work. You tweak it, finesse it, let it do the work.
Okay. Let's do the round up.
Alright. All I want you to do is roll in and roll out. Roll in, go 30 degrees and roll out. As soon as you roll in, put it on 100 RPM in. When you roll out, okay. I got my toes on the rudder and I haven't felt the rudder move.
Oh, right.
Okay, so let's roll out level here. So let's do a left entry. So I'm going to do it with you. You feel what I do. So I'm going to put a little left rudder in it and a little left aileron. Now I neutralize the rudder a little less, pressure, and I put the ailerons right in the middle.
Okay, and all you're doing is the elevator?
I'm just pulling a little bit on the elevator. And I just let the airplane be at that. Now I got to roll out. So I'm going to do right rudder, right aileron, and then
neutralize.
And then neutralize. So that time, I'm going to roll out, add 100 RPM, just a little squeeze. When I roll out, I'm going to take that back out again.
Okay.
So you don't balloon.
Yep.
So let's do things.
Okay, so I'll turn.
Sure. So, little power. A little more power. Not that you can hear it in your ears. You hear it in your ears, it's probably 100 RPM.
Okay.
You do a little bit.
Alright, and then I'll make a right one.
Neutralize. And once you're level, roll out. Okay, good. We'll practice those more later, but that's the idea.
Okay.
Alright, let's head back and do landing.
You want to climb?
And we do is, which way is the wind blowing?
100.
Okay. No maneuvers more than 30 degrees unless we're doing a whatever, like steep turns.
Okay.
Oh, it's fun, but okay. So we're 5,500 feet. We need to be down below class Bravo. So over the hill here.
Can I practice the slip?
You can.
Okay.
Wake avoidance. Study how to do that. So if an airplane takes off, you take off prior to his rotation point. If he climbs like a maniac and you have to fly through his wake,
you're going to go jump.
You have to offset to the upwind side.
Okay.
You fly around his wake on the upwind side. So if he's drifting to the left, you go over to the right.
Okay.
Avoid his wake that way. If he lands, you land beyond.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Because you're not going to go in the wake.
You're going to pass through that way.
Okay, what altitude do? 4,000. Okay, so
flight idle.
Okay.
And a normal aspirated, you'd have carb heat on, it's got carb heat. Now continue to fly straight, and then just nice and smoothly start applying right rudder, but you add the ailerons, we're going to fly to the airport. Okay. We're just going to go here nice and smoothly. We're adding full right rudder. Okay. While we're flying straight ahead. If we want to fly 100, we could go ahead and ease it over 2 degrees at a time to 100. Okay. Now we got the BSI peg. We're probably doing 25, 3,000 feet a minute. Now as we come out, do it real gently. So we're coming out in a coordinated way.
So slowly I take off the right rudder and then slowly move the aileron.
Because here's the problem. When you kick the wing, if I kick the rudder, what's that wing doing right now?
Going up. We're adding...
Because he accelerated faster than this wing over to the right.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is we're turning final. And, oh crap, overshot. So we start getting steep here, more than 30 degrees. Oh, not good. Start doing this, but I want to get my nose around, so now we're cross-controlling the airplane. What did we just do to that wing?
We
Decelerated him.
okay.
If you're near stall speed,
You've been screwed.
you just spun the airplane.
Yep.
So that's the perfect stall or spin awareness deal, is that overshoot to final. That's where it's most apt to happen.
Okay. So that's yeah. Don't want to do that.
A smooth rudder out and watch your airspeed. Alright, let's grab some ATIS.
Alright.
We'll turn this back on.
Presently available on ground control frequency. Yellow flashing lights indicate you are approaching an active runway. ATC clearance is required. Simultaneous operations are being conducted to parallel and crossing runways. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have received Lima.
Lima.
Alright.
North Las Vegas Tower information, Lima, time 1953 Zulu, wind variable at 6, temperature 28, and dew point -11, altimeter 29er. Visual approach runway 12 right in use, landing and departing runway 12 right, 12 left, and 25.
Okay.
Presently radio
Tower
control frequency, yellow
What's
flash.
tower?
ATC clearance is required.
Airport diagram.
Simultaneous operations are being conducted.
Las Vegas Tower via Golf, cross runway 7, hold short of runway 12.
Runway 7, hold short 12 right.
Report. 7 to the left.
What's that?
2775, runway
7 to the left.
clear to land.
12 right, thank you, sir.
770, runway 12 left, clear for the option.
12 left, clear for the option. 770.
North Las Vegas Tower. It's an introduction.
Tower Cessna 0 with runway 7 from the west.
Not runway, but the direction.
Hotel runway 12 right, clear for takeoff, make a right, traffic.
Turn 90 degrees towards clock. I'll switch because this is got an open squelch.
12 right, clear for takeoff, right traffic.
Let's report long out. So, North Las Vegas Tower, Cessna, November 1, 560 Whiskey, Wall Mountain. Information Lima, Wall Mountain, close back.
Alright. North Las Vegas Tower, Cessna 9560 Whiskey, information Lima, Long Mountain, very close traffic.
60 Whiskey, North Las Vegas Tower. Roger, make straight in runway 12 left.
Straight in 12 left, 60 Whiskey.
Well, he's prefaced. Okay, go back to the airport. Level off until we get closer.
Let's try to
Stay 1,000 feet above the houses. As a regulate. I won't take it off the landing. We're not close enough to warrant the takeoff and landing exception. Just stay at 3,500.
Okay.
See the Santa Fe slightly to the left?
Yep.
Let's go to the Santa Fe and intercept straight in. Okay. Now, anytime he gives you a runway, say runway 12 right.
Okay.
If it's the weather, it's information Lima.
Information runway, okay.
Yep. If it's a taxiway and he gives you routing, say taxi via the taxiway.
A bad habit I've made since my flight simulation and just got lazy with saying 12 left Lima.
Yeah, Microsoft Soft Flight Sim is a great little fun app, and it's very functional, has a lot of pluses. Phraseology isn't one of them.
Don't learn.
Okay, we're going down, so let's do a descent checklist. The first thing we do when we go down is add a little fuel.
Alright,
So,
is that good?
that's good.
Lights, we did turn off the beacon earlier.
And that's a before landing check. We can do that now since we're running straight in. Sure.
Okay. So now we're going to do LC gumps.
Okay.
So, lights as desired. Carburetor heat, don't have to worry about that. Gas. On it. No, that's
Gas, both.
gas both.
Undercarriage fixed. Mixture full forward. Forward prop fixed. Seatbelt secure.
Okay. Slowly start reducing power.
System to hotel number 2, following Cessna 1 mile final, runway 12 right, clear for the option.
Number 2, 12 right, clear for the option, Cessna Hotel.
Okay, what kind of speed would we be targeting?
80.
Okay, so let's fix that out here. How's it quick, slow, slow up?
System 1 Zulu, extend down 1
Go
correct
off
base
the
turn.
power.
Alright, you'll go my base.
Level off.
60 Whiskey runway 12 left, clear for the option and make left traffic.
Look at the option 12 left traffic system 60 Whiskey.
Okay.
There we have the speed, so you can add some power back in
Section
there.
proper, clear for the option.
We can add 10 flaps. On final, we can add 20 flaps. Maintain 75 out here, 65 up closer.
Okay. 2775 to my hotel and contact ground.
75 out here.
Hotel, down the ground, cap 2775, thanks sir.
Push forward, there's speed.
To hotel, traffic you're following now on the runway 12 right, clear for the option.
Alright, 12 right.
Add a little more power.
770.
60 Whiskey, approaching Cessna 770, traffic 2 mile final. Cessna report traffic inside.
I'll keep an eye out for the traffic, 770.
Traffic.
And to clarify, 72 Hotel is the one clear for the option on 12 right.
Hey, firm.
Alright, Cessna 952 Hotel, clear for the option 12 right. Somebody else read back that clearance west.
Traffic.
Hear anybody read it back?
60 Whiskey, you are on 12 left, correct?
Affirmative.
So 770, do you have traffic just passed off your left?
Yeah, I see traffic inside. 770.
770, number 2, following that traffic, runway 12 left, clear for the option.
I'm at 12 left,
Full flaps, push over. We use all of available runway. So are we high, low, or just right?
We're high.
Okay. Ease the nose down a couple degrees, pull up low power for the altitude. Pitch for speed, power for the altitude correction. Alright, we're right on the slope. Don't wing lock it, just make it steady. Okay. Mouse on the runway, go around. Go around. Full power and push. Curb heat off, flaps 20. Okay. Stay level till we have 60. Then we can climb. Okay. Pitch just through your nose on the horizon and take out the pressure on the trim wheel. Full power. Not a reduced takeoff. Full power. Trim out the pressure.
Traffic not available.
Now as soon as you start your climb, incrementally get the flaps coming up. 1 or 10 degrees at a time. Put the nose on the horizon, we climb at best rate, about 75. We're off into the runway, start the left turnout, get the rest of the flaps up. Don't ease over, keep pitching back up, so we're at 75. We just changed the wing because we raised and lowered the flap, so you have to pitch accordingly.
That's right.
Over 80, pitch back up to 75. With no wind, there's that little nipple out there towards the hospital. Yep. That's our, should be about 030. Alright. Now clear to the left, everything's clear, start your left down. If there's no winds, we'll be looking just to the right of those foothills out there in the distance. Okay. Ooh. There's our altitude and speeds. Pull way back on the power. Way back. Get back down on speed and altitude. And we should be, look out on the horizon. Should be to the right of the foothills. Alright.
So 60 Whiskey, runway 12 left, clear for the option.
12 left, clear for the option, 60 Whiskey.
Runway 1.
Runway.
Sorry. Okay. Potosis out to the left. Little tits out to the right. The hospital. Alright. Foothills are out there. That's with no wind. Let's knock out a before landing checklist.
Okay. Lights as required.
Scan the instruments. We're sinking here, so give it a little trim and then keep going. Don't do the whole checklist without scanning your instruments.
Okay.
You're fast and low, so just pitch. That'll take care of both those.
Okay. 770, number 2, following Cessna, midfield downwind, runway 12 left, clear for the option.
Alright, lights. Number 2, 12 left, clear for the option, 770. Lights as required.
Hotel, runway 12 right, clear for the option.
Already.
Gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop, seatbelt. It's not a checklist. Memory. Turn left, and now I need to descend at 75. So probably about 1,600, 1,500 on the RPM, roughly, and we need to get some dirt out, so throw out some flaps. Alright. Here we could go to 20 on the base leg, and we head towards Potosi. No wind. The wind's blowing from the left, and we'd have to turn a little more than Potosi to correct for the wind. We're still at pattern, so we need to pull off all the power. Fly 75. We're back on slope.
Okay.
Looking pretty good. We can leave the power off for a little bit. Fly 75, maybe 70 in the turn, but no less than that, so add some power back now. But bring the nose back down a little bit. Perfect. We're cleared for the option. Okay, 4-4 landing checklist complete.
Okay, so we're a little high at the moment. So a little power. So false power. Pitch for speed.
Dampen out some of the movement of the airplane.
North 16 Tower, Metro 3, Metro Pad, Lima.
Slightly low. We're aiming for the back really fast and pull it off.
Metro 3, Roger.
Now just slowly round out. Just let the airplane fly flat.
Okay.
Power should be off at this point. Hold it off, let it push. Now just a little bit of braking, because we're still light. Add a little braking. The airplane's kind of a floater roller, so we just gotta do what you do. Helicopter right there. Easy on the brake.
Traffic not available.
60 Whiskey, say intentions.
Taxi back and terminate.
60 Whiskey, turn my kilo, hold short of runway 12 right.
Turn a keel, hold short, runway 12 right. 60 Whiskey.
Metro 5, on the go.
Span X-ray, Papa clear for the option.
Papa clear for the option, Metro 5.
Straight ahead. Oh, sorry. Because this is 12 right, yeah.
It's the far end of 12 right. It's the active runway. I would hold short about this far out so you can see the red. Legally, we're violated if we put the spinner over the 4 lines, or on the first of the 4 lines. But he's looking at it through parallax, so don't challenge him. Give yourself reasonable space. Now we're sitting here doing nothing. We could do the after landing checklist.
Okay.
Next frequency change to Las Vegas.
It's 3 contact Las Vegas, now 12
Flaps up. We just did that. Trim 7 takeoff.
Right, rolling on the right. Keep going.
Right. Make sure lean for taxi. Just do that.
1 inch.
1 inch.
But
Inch. Transponder standby.
Tower, so do tell we press the taxi back for takeoff.
Hotel turn left, hotel left, Delta, hold short of runway 12.
We are at kilo 12 right. And we will take kilo on to Bravo. And then
60 Whiskey traffic is exiting in hotel via Kilo cross runway 12 right, then contact ground.
Kilo cross 12 right, contact ground, Cessna 60 Whiskey.
you have to use the lead-in line.
Okay.
A little slower. We only have permission to exit, not continue. Yep. So we have to stop.
Alright.
Monitor ground.
2?
No?
No.
Flip it.
No. Alright.
Monitor. And you got your checklist done?
Yep.
Alright.
And let's see, we're clear runway 12 right at Kilo, taxi back to the ramp. Perfect. Alright. North Las Vegas ground Cessna 9560 Whiskey, clear 12 right at Kilo, taxi back to the ramp.
9560 Whiskey, North Las Vegas ground taxi via Bravo.